Good morning. How are you? Nice to see you. Thank you for joining me yet again for another morning ramble. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to talk about now. There's a couple of things going on. There's some panic going on back at Trouble at Mill. And there's a few emails going around suggesting I think someone got a change wrong last night, and it's created a little bit of panic. So already at 6 o'clock I was emailing and WhatsApping various people just to make sure things were going, and then I suddenly got a knock on the door. Bing, bing, I panicked. A person at the door ringing the bell. I'm like, what's going on? So this is me still in bed. So I went down. No, in fact, I just came out of the shower. Anyway, I went downstairs and it's my wife. Oh, she'd been to the train station and came back. She'd forgotten her phone. So I was like, oh great. She had to walk back 10 minutes back from the station. It's quite a warm day, so she was all a bit hot and bothered. So I offered to get dressed quickly and take her to the train station. So that's how mad my morning's been. Yesterday was a very good day, and the reason I'm not in today is I've got a Bupa, normal Bupa annual health check thing that HSBC do. So that's why I'm not in the office. Well, I'm now making excuses why I'm not going into the office, and there's a reason for that. Yesterday was quite a fantastic day for many reasons. I obviously went into the office, and I was feeling a bit, thinking about the weekend and seeing the grandchildren and all that, and I was like, wow, did that really happen? And yes, it did. Thank you. And but yesterday was very good from a point of view of somebody put a colleague who I used to work with at Lloyd's had put some time in my diary just for a coffee, and then during the day changed it to lunch, and then he said, oh, there's this other guy who we used to work with at Lloyd's, and he's now here at HSBC, let's all catch up for lunch. So we ended up going for lunch. But before I talk about that, I bumped in the morning. I noticed another guy I'd worked with about 3 years ago in another department. Oh, how you doing? We had headphones on, listening to some music, and I thought, oh, what are you listening to? And he said, punk. I said, what? Because something I was going to mention in the morning ramble is I've been watching the Pistols, which is Danny Boyle's take on the Sex Pistols and the start of the punk era in 1976, round about there, of which I was a punk. Believe it or not, my younger brother's friend told him about 10 years after that, in the 80s, he said, I remember your brother, he was the first punk in Clydebank. So I was the first punk in Clydebank, would you believe? There you go, there's a something, because what I used to do is I used to dress up in all the wild gear only at my friend's house. My father wouldn't have let me out like that. He said, what are you doing with safety pins and we had these glasses on which were black and tape on them and all that, we were just a bit mad. And we used to pass this guy's house, and he must have been looking out at us. So then 10 years later he's telling my brother, yeah, I remember your brother going past my house with all these gear on. But yeah, punk appealed to me at the time. I don't know why, it spoke to me, as it does watching the Pistols. You should if you like music, it's basically the beginning of a mad era. It's absolutely mad, and you can see Johnny Rotten, joining the band and all that. I'm only at episode 3, so I won't spoil it, But it's just, really good from that perspective, and obviously Danny Boyle. I mean, it's kind of strangely filmed, because it's kind of looked at. They're trying to create an old style to it, but it's got a lot of good characters in it, and it's worth watching. But anyway, so I met up with this guy, said that he liked punk, and he said, he's from London, and he said he knew Johnny Rotten's father or something. I'm like, my goodness. So, that kind of conversation, how do you have that if you're on Zoom and working from home all the time? And then another guy, I've not seen you for a while, how you doing? Nice to see you. And, and again, he used to sit next to me about 3 years ago. And here I am, sort of, because I was hot desking, and you just don't know where you're going to land. I ended up landing next to him, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And caught up with him, and he's basically saying, some of the problems that he's been having are very similar to the problems I've been having. I'm thinking, because you always think the problems that you're going through are, literally you're the only one that's going through them, but literally he's the exact same problems with the same people as well, and so it was really good from that perspective to relate and to also feel better about the issues that you've been dealing with that have been keeping you awake at night. And a problem shared is a problem half kind of thing, do you know what I mean? So we're going to meet up once a month just to have that kind of banter, anything, just whatever, and put it in the diaries already. So, how do you sort of cater for that when you're working from home? Serendipity is just, something that doesn't happen when you're working from home. So you need to go into the office to actually experience that. And then later on in the afternoon, I thought, actually, there's another problem I've been wrestling with. There's this particular, I've been asked to help another area with scaling up change and actually making change, faster. And one of the ideas they had, I thought, actually, he might know about that. So I then briefed them, said, do you know anything about this? And he's been around a bit longer, and he didn't. He felt that, the way that I suggested was the only way, but I'm trying to think of a different way. And he said, but here's somebody who might be able to help. They give me an email. Again, how invaluable is that? How could that have happened on a Zoom call working from home? So yeah, and then later on in the lunch we had with my colleagues for ex-Lloyds was also fascinating, talking about careers, talking a little bit of catch up obviously, but mostly about the future, about opportunities, how to make sure you're looking after your own career in terms of I can't say much. I'm trying to think of words around avoiding saying specifically. But anyway, future career things, which is obviously a collaborative thing. And it was really great to see them and catch up with those kind of ideas. And a few other ideas that they had that one of them I then used later on that evening. So I went out for dinner with it was a supplier dinner. The guys who organised it were asking me if I could help them with their particular business in terms of understanding cybersecurity a bit better. Happy to help, that's what we're all about. So again, another collaborative idea, and they might actually be useful for another idea that came up during the day. So connecting.
London travel news now, starting with the M25.
Hold on
we had an earlier accident anti-clockwise before Wisley at junction 10. That was dealt with.
Traffic information coming in. Need to stop. Sorry, I had to stop there for traffic information came on the radio. So yeah, all in all is one day and Serendipity was just alive. And serendipity is something I've seen working for me in other parts of my life. Film was one of the ones. I went to Hollywood, thinking, I think I'll make a little bit of video, and end up, meeting Ennio Morricone, Clint Eastwood, Ewan McGregor, Sharon Stone, you name it. Like, I mean, serendipity is the magic of the world, and it doesn't happen much if you're sitting at home. So yeah, going out there, connecting, bouncing off people, I think is definitely something I've forgotten that we've missed over the last couple of years, and I'm looking forward to it. Quite exciting actually, because by doing that and connecting with people, the sky is literally the limit, and the future of just the change that happens by these interconnections it's like sliding doors, the movie Sliding Doors with Gwyneth Paltrow in it and John Hannah, where just a change in what you're doing, walk left out the door instead of walking right, just any change ultimately leads to a different future, and one that you don't know is positive or not necessarily negative, but mostly these events are all about changing something for the better, and that's quite exciting to me. So I'll be going in a bit more often and seeing what serendipity brings to me. So I think that was about it. Yeah, those are the few things I've got in my head that I wanted to share. A bit of a manic day, but hey, that's what I enjoy. I'm off to get a Beyond Meat breakfast roll and a coffee. I'm sure you didn't really need to know that, but that's what the morning ramble's about, isn't it? Have a good day.
Yeah. And that's why now we do the Canary Wharf first, and because that was successful, that's why we're going to start. But there, the pubs up and down, you see the tourists going.
It's quite small, don't
Yeah,
you?
it was
Definitely a good view.
Then back in the day, where St Paul's is to the right, that's the square. They wanted to develop that.
You good? Yeah, very well, thank you. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.